Now go ahead and run WLST again and issue the same connect command that you did before. Oops. Okay. So you can see here in the output that WLST is initiating a handshake, and we get the successfully connected to the admin server statement. So WebLogic scripting tool as a client was able to trust the admin server certificate, and we're in. So now we can generate the necessary property files that are needed to start the admin server using Node Manager. There's a single command that we need to run, and that is nm as a node manager gen boot startup props, and then specify the server that we want to generate properties for, and that is the admin server. And this syntax is in the lab guide as well. So go ahead and hit enter, and you'll see that it generated a boot.property file, which we already have, but it's now in a different location. And note that. So under the server home directory, so the admin server, under data, there's a node manager subdirectory that has the startup files. So once they've been generated, go ahead and hit exit. And node manager will use these two files for starting up the admin server. So go ahead and shut down the admin server. I'm just going to hit Control C here to kill it. Go back to my other window. And we're now going to use WLST to start the admin server. And to do that, we connect to Node Manager and issue commands to start the admin server. So launch WLST again. And the command to connect to Node Manager is not connect, it's nm connect. And actually you can type help on that to check out the syntax and an example. Okay. So there's quite a few more parameters here. I've got to specify the username and password as you would expect, the listen address and port number of the Node Manager instance you want to connect to, and the name of the domain that you want to manage, and the type. So whether it's plain, RSH, or SSH, or SSL. So our syntax, and it's in the lab guide, will be nm connect, and the C is capitalized in connect. Specify the username, and the password, and then the listen address of the node manager, which is my IP, and port number, the name of our domain, which is WL server, and the type. Type nm type equals SSL. Let's go ahead and hit enter. And you can see we're now connected securely to the running Node Manager instance. Now to start the admin server, we issue a single command, and that's nm start. And you can use nm start to start any server in your domain by name. So we're going to start the admin server. So nm start, and then specify the name of the admin server and hit enter. Node Manager is telling us that it successfully started the admin server. So go ahead and exit WLST. We don't need to be in here anymore. Now, it may seem to you that this is quite cumbersome, that we're launching WebLogic scripting tool interactively, that we're typing in all these commands. How is this any easier or better than just running the start WebLogic or start manage WebLogic scripts? Well, for one, you can script these commands. You can actually write a WLST script, which is in Python, and you can put these commands in there and then just run that script to start up Node Manager. And then Node Manager can handle automatically stopping, Node Manager can then automatically handle starting, stopping, and restarting of servers. So once you get Node Manager running and the admin server running, then life is good, and it really relieves you from having to run these scripts, these start and stop scripts frequently. So now that the admin server is up and running, let's go ahead and log back into the admin console. I need to refresh this page. Go ahead and log in as WebLogic. So now what we're going to do is we're going to start our managed servers using Node Manager. So if you recall, we associated a managed server with a machine, and the machine knows where that Node Manager instance is running. It knows its IP and its listen port and its type, whether it's non-SSL or SSL. So you can see here for all our managed servers, these are all shut down. The health, it's not reachable, which means that it's unable to determine health status because it is shut down. So to start these up, go ahead and click on the Control tab and check the boxes next to one of the managed servers. I'm going to start up 1 and 2 here and click Start. And you'll see at the very top of the screen that a request has been sent to the Node Manager to start those servers. So the admin server just sent a command to Node Manager, and Node Manager is starting the managed server 1 and 2. And as you can see here, we got the pop-ups for those sample web applications. So that tells me that the managed servers were running. So click back on the console. And this, by the way, this page won't refresh itself. If you perform any actions within the admin console that take time to perform, such as an application deployment or a starting of a service, these pages won't refresh. They used to in WebLogic 8.1, but since version 9, when they revamped the entire admin console, it doesn't automatically refresh. So there's a button over here that looks like a couple of arrows. You can click that, and this page will automatically refresh every several seconds. So note the state, which is in starting, and the task in progress. This is going to change as soon as it refreshes. Okay, click the button again to stop the refresh, and now they are running, and the state of the last action was task completed. So the last action was the start command that I'd issued. So these are up and running. Now I want to show you something. I want to show you how Node Manager can restart a failed server. So click the refresh button here. Okay, I want to continuously monitor this page, and go back to your terminal window and do a PS in here. So what I want to do is I want to get the process ID for one of the managed servers, and I'm going to kill that managed server. So the syntax in Linux or OS 10 is going to be PSEF and then grep for MS1. This is the process I want to kill. And so if you've never looked at your processes before, this is what the process for a WebLogic server looks like. To quickly go over it, you can see that the first part is the Java home bin Java, and then following that are all the JVM parameters such as the heap size and all the memory arguments, and then you see this -d WebLogic.name equals ms1. This tells you what server this process represents. So go ahead and we're going to kill this process. Okay. Now, to confirm, so what just happened? It happened far too quickly. So I killed MS1, and then I ran my PS statement again, and notice the process ID changed. It went from 25801 to 25867. So what happened here? Node Manager caught that the server failed, and it restarted it. And that's why back in my browser window, I have another application pop up. So go back to the summary of servers, go back to the admin console, and unfortunately it happened too fast. I was hoping to see a failed state here. So let's stop the refresh. So if one of your servers dies, Node Manager will automatically restart it. Now you can configure Node Manager not to do that, or you can limit the number of retries. I think the default for Node Manager is 3 retries before it marks that server has failed. So that's it for Node Manager. You now have it configured to control startup and shutdown for any servers running on this machine. Now in a later lab, we're going to talk about how we scale out WebLogic to remote machines, and we'll configure Node Manager on that remote machine as well, and then we'll be able to start up and shut down servers that are not running on the same machine as the admin server.